Hi, my name is Sandy Rains, and I'm a Community Relations Manager with CCCSMD, Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Maryland and Delaware. I am here to discuss with you today the introduction to home ownership, the benefits, the advantages that come with being a new homeowner. What we're going to talk about today is whether you should buy or not buy, fair housing, predatory lending, considerations, home buying team and who those team members are, and what available resources do you have to you at the time you're wanting to buy. Having housing counseling is very important. We provide that service. Since 2009, the federal and independent studies have consistently demonstrated that housing counseling significantly increases the likelihood that homeowners will remain current and avoid foreclosure, not losing that house they had worked so hard to get. Now, when you do housing counseling, the counselors, we call our counselors financial advocates, they're going to assist in the development of a spending plan. They're going to assist with obtaining and reviewing your credit report and your score, give you direction and information about the being mortgage ready, and providing you tools and giving you support to ensure that you have successful home ownership. So the decision to buy is a very, very important one and is life-changing for everyone. So you do want to make sure that you consider the advantages and the challenges. When you buy a home, you may be able to reduce your tax liability if you're paying interest and property taxes, because those are two items that are usually deductible for your primary home mortgage. And if the value of your home increases over time, you have the opportunity to build equity as well. Conversely, if the value decreases, then the opposite is true. Buying a home is like an investment in the stock market, things like that, but it is a time frame investment for you because the economy and the market on the value of our homes can go up and down. But typically it is a good investment and we will build equity. So what is equity? Equity is the value of your home minus the amount owed on it. So buying a home can actually help your credit rating if your payments are made on time. But if those payments are not made, you can damage your credit and risk foreclosure. A huge benefit from buying is the sense of security that you gain from establishing roots, and you're actually committing to one community. Perhaps you're ready to settle down in that community, and now you've decided it is time for you to buy. You want that feeling of being permanent in a community, a feeling of being involved, and that comes from owning your own home. However, sometimes you might lose that flexibility to move quickly with a job transfer or a desire for yourself to relocate. Then, of course, you would have to, if you wanted, put your house up for sale, or you would have to rent it out. So those are options that you would have. And although you're the homeowner, you're going to incur some maintenance costs because now there's no more calling the landlord. Buying also typically allows you more control, though, over what you do with your property. Knowing how to read your credit report is very important, but understanding the impact your credit score is critical to you as you work towards building your credit and your financial responsibility. Now, your credit score helps determine the interest rate on a mortgage loan. If your credit scores are high, it tells lenders that you've paid your bills on time, you haven't maxed out your credit cards, and so on. Lenders see you as likely to pay your loan payments consistently and on time. They see you as a low risk investment and they offer you a lower interest rate and other costs on your loan. Now, if your score is low, the lenders see you as a risky investment. And if they approve you for a loan, then they're going to charge you a higher interest rate in exchange for taking on that perceived risk. Utility providers will also look at your credit profile to determine risk. And if your credit report reflects periods of difficulty in managing credit, then deposits can be added in order to get utility services connected, or they could increase the deposit that's required. They may even, if you have poor credit, they could even require you to have someone sign with you taking on that responsibility. Higher deposits can stretch your budget. You're not maybe prepared for those, and it could impact your ability to afford your mortgage payment. When it comes to the Fair Housing Act, it prohibits discrimination in housing because of these characteristics: race, color, national origin, religion, sex, family status, and disability. Prohibited practices in sale would be for the rental of homes or also purchasing of homes. You cannot be refused the right to rent, sell, or negotiate. Setting different terms, conditions, or privileges and services for facilities cannot be placed upon you. Producing discriminatory marketing materials. These are all practices that cannot be done. Falsely representing the availability of a dwelling. Engaging in blockbusting practices for profit, and participating in other discriminatory actions. So all of, and if you're wondering what blockbusting is, that is actually where someone tries to convince or attempt to convince a person to sell or rent a dwelling because of the entry or prospective entry into the neighborhood of a person or persons of a particular race, color, religion, sex, family status, national origin, or with someone with a disability. If you want to learn more about the fair housing, you're able to go and pull up and review a brochure on that, and you can go to www.hud.gov/sites/documents/FHEO, and that would be your booklet, and that is in English. So that is more details on the Fair Housing Act. And it's an equal opportunity for all, so you all want to know what your rights are. Now, once you decide to buy a home, you'll need to consider additional factors. So when you start working with a realtor, then these are considerations because that realtor is going to want to know what are your wants, what are your needs. We may not get all of our wants, but maybe there are some needs you must have. First of all, what location? What's your desired location? What area would be best for you and your family? Do you want to be close to work, close to family, or certain activities? Do you want to be close to the school if you have children? Then you have to look at the income and affordability. How much house can you afford based on your current income? Because that's how a lender is going to look at it when you make a formal application. Affordability is not just about the initial upfront costs, but additional costs that you will incur once you're in that home, such as a change in utility expenses. Now you have your home maintenance that you're responsible for, not a landlord. If you buy in a deed restricted area, then you might have HOA fees, that's homeowner association fees, and you're also responsible for repairs of anything that happens at your home. The lifestyle, do you prefer a neighborhood with houses close to one another? Do you want to be out in a rural area with a lot of land that's more suitable for you and your family? These are questions that you will need to answer for yourself because you've got to share this information. The realtor can't read your mind. As far as maintenance, do you have the time and the desire to invest in cutting the lawn or painting your home? Or would you prefer to perhaps just buy a condo and pay condo HOA fees that will continue to cover routine maintenance for you in other areas? Look at the schools and the community resources around where you're thinking of buying. Do you have or plan to have children? You want them in a certain school district? Or do you want them to be close to certain community resources like healthcare? When considering a home mortgage, not only are there upfront costs of the down payment and the closing costs themselves, but ongoing costs as well, because no more do you have a landlord. You're the owner and you're responsible for repairs and different things that come up when you have to take maintenance on the home. How much house you can afford, that's going to vary dependent on the type of loan and the interest you qualify for. The lower your interest rate, the lower your payment. So that's why you always want to keep on top of what's being reported on your credit report, because that will affect your credit score, good or bad. Other considerations that you should include and think about would be your mortgage payment. Now, that mortgage payment will consist of principal, interest for the loan, your county taxes on the property, and your homeowner's insurance. You're going to be responsible for the ongoing maintenance costs, like your appliances, the heating, the cooling, maintenance of the yard, landscaping, those kind of things. Is this home in a community that has a homeowners association? If so, then there could be monthly or yearly fees that need to be considered in your budget. Most of them are not included in your mortgage payment, but you need to be prepared to pay for those whenever they are due. And then repairs, building a safety net for you when you have a major repair cost, because we don't have a crystal ball, so we really don't know when things are going to happen. When the water heater goes out, we have a problem with the AC or the heater. So we always need to be prepared as much as possible. Now, PITI stands for Principal, Interest, Taxes, and Insurance. You may hear this term from your lender. This is the amount of your monthly mortgage payment, and it's going to depend on the amount that you borrow. It's going to depend on the interest rate and the term for the repayment period of the loan. The shorter the repayment term, the higher your payment will be. Lenders often refer to these combined mortgage payment components as PITI, which stands for, as I said, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Every mortgage payment includes repayment of the two main components, and that's your principal and interest, and that goes back to the lender for the loan. The principal is the amount borrowed from the lender, and the interest is the fee charged for using the lender's funds. Property taxes are the annual city or county taxes assessed on your property, and your homeowner's insurance is the monthly amount to insure the property against loss from fire, smoke, theft, and other hazards as required by your lenders. The taxes and insurance may be paid separately from the mortgage. However, for many homeowners, the monthly mortgage payment also includes an added amount for property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, and then you could also be paying private mortgage insurance that would be added to the payment. That's called PMI, and that is required on a loan if the lender is financing more than 80%. So that is a requirement. Most first-time home buyers are definitely going to have PMI unless they do have 20% down payment. The lender actually retains the taxes and the insurance payments, and they put that in a separate escrow account, and then they pay your taxes and your insurance bills when they become due. Those bills will be sent to the lender. You will also get notification, but just remember in your monthly mortgage payment, you are adding to that escrow account with every payment. And then when the payments are due annually, then your lender will take that money out of the escrow account and make those payments for you. So depending on how much you pay down, you may also have to pay that private mortgage insurance. Now, that private mortgage insurance PMI, it protects the lender. It's not typical insurance like for coverage on an automobile or insurance on your home. If the mortgage company has to foreclose and they sell the property for less than what it's owed, then they put a claim into the insurance company for the shortage. So that's why this is required, so the lender has some kind of a coverage there if you default on your loan. Now, there's a 20% rule, and this refers to the fact that at 80% loan to value, the company feels protected because they're lending you only 80%. And sometimes your lenders will offer you a piggyback loan. And this refers to doing an 80-20, where 80% is the first mortgage and 20% is the second. And that's one way you could get around not paying PMI. But just remember, that's actually two mortgages and you're having two mortgage payments. One is a first and one would be a second. The cost is estimated at around $30 to $80 per month for every $100,000 borrowed when you're looking at the PMI. And there's a standard guideline the lenders must go by depending on how much you're borrowing, and those amounts could change. The loan payment options that are more universally known would be fixed, variable, and ARM. Now, your fixed loan is an interest rate that is fixed for a particular term of the loan, say 30, 15, even 20-year terms. Your variable interest is an interest rate that varies and the payments fluctuate over the life of the loan. Adjustable rate mortgage, you probably have heard someone refer to it as the ARM. This is an interest rate loan that is fixed for a set period of time, and then it will automatically adjust annually going forward for the life of the loan. And there are usually 2% caps for the maximum that it could increase on an annual basis. So for instance, if I got a 3-1 adjustable, then that means the first 3 years of that loan, I have a fixed rate payment. And then every year after the third, it's going to adjust depending on what the going rates are at that time, connected to what's going on with the treasury bills and the economy. Your down payment, these are upfront costs. So your down payment, most lenders require a minimum of 3 to 20% of the home's purchase price, depending on the type of loan that you're getting. The closing costs, this is to finalize the purchase of the home, and it can range from anywhere from 2 to 6% of your mortgage amount, depending on the state in which you live. There's a cost for the home inspection that's paid by you, the buyer. It's important for you to really know the condition of the property and the way you are going to purchase the home and how the home works. This charge will vary depending on the square footage of the home, the type of property, and its location. You're going to need a few, maybe $300 to $500, depending on how big the home is, but you will need this money. This is your responsibility for payment. So you want to make sure that you have the funds to pay the home inspector. Also, consider your moving costs. When your moving day arrives and that was a successful home ownership process for you, are you going to need to have trucks, renting trucks to help you? Are you going to have friends and family to help you? You're going to have to turn on the utilities. and that means deposit and connection fees possibly. So these are all costs that come with buying a home. When it comes to your HOA dues, whether it's for a single family home in a subdivision or you're purchasing a condo, some of the communities have fees for maintaining the public spaces, such as pools, playgrounds, and of course, the ground maintenance. Your property taxes, like I said before, they will be escrowed by your lender with your monthly payment. So when your bills come due for your insurance and for your taxes, then the lender will make those payments for you. Again, you're responsible for the regular maintenance, cleaning leaves from the gutter, snow removal. Maybe you need to change the carpets, replace the flooring, replacing dishwashers, getting a new furnace, a new AC. What would you do about landscaping? These are all your calls to make. And once you're in a home, then you can do certain things to it. The only thing you may not be able to do without getting approval is painting the outside of a single family home. Because if you're in a HOA association and you want to paint your home, you're going to have to get those colors usually approved by the HOA. So just remember, you always want to get a copy or know where to find your HOA documents. And you can actually ask for those from the real estate agent, or she could tell you where to find them so you can review them. Because if you're thinking of adding a fence or doing certain things, you want to know what you can and cannot do. And then, of course, the monthly utilities, which is your electric, your water, could be trash removal, whatever those monthly utilities are, then of course you're responsible for those as well now. Condominiums, they are the starter home of choice for a lot of home buyers today because they're generally smaller and less expensive than conventional single family homes. The term condominium does not describe a particular style of architecture, but rather it's a type of joint ownership. Each living unit is individually owned, while the common space, the surrounding land, the hallways, elevators, recreational facilities, they're owned collectively by the owners of each unit in the condominium complex. And in addition to the monthly mortgage payment, condominium owners pay a condo fee for the management of the complex and the upkeep of the common property areas, and sometimes, occasionally, some utilities. A townhouse condominium is simply another type of condominium in which units of 2 or more stories share common walls. Each unit has its own ground space, but like other condominiums, the common spaces and the facilities are collectively owned by all the unit owners. Co-ops, they resemble condominiums in that they are owned by a collective number. However, legally, they are different. The co-op owners have shares in a corporation that owns the property rather than owning the individual units in which they live. So the cooperatives are a well-established form of ownership, especially in New York City and other parts of the country. When it comes to your lender, there are different avenues that you could go if you're needing assistance. If you're looking for down payment assistance, you could find out about that by contacting your state housing authority. You could speak with your lender because your lender should know what kind of down payment assistance is happening in your county and or state. You speak with your real estate agent to see if they would be able to give you information, and you can do your own research as well. Lenders will consider such things as, of course, your income, because you're going to have to make the mortgage payment monthly. They look at a steady income stream, that they'll want to make sure they get proof that you have consistent income, and then they will verify before closing that you still have your job and they may ask for updated pay stubs. When it comes to your employment, it's more stable for your work history because that's the better. They know that you're a stable person managing your finances and your work is on this stability role. If you switch jobs frequently in the last few years, there's a possibility that will impact your eligibility because the lender could see you as a possible risk. Now, lenders are trying to determine when it comes to your assets if you have money in reserves or if you've had unusually large deposits made to your account. And so they're going to ask, for verification of what those deposits were for, because it looks like maybe the money is not yours, or where did that money come from? Unusual large deposits, and they would ask proof of where that money came from. So like if you had a direct deposit for tax refunds, it's going to show up and it's going to say a tax refund. So that's a given, but if they need more paperwork, then you can give them copies of your tax returns that shows the amount that you would be receiving. When it comes to the down payments, that's the amount that is required, and that can vary by what kind of loan you qualify for. A down payment can be reflective of the investment you're able to put into the home itself. And the lower your loan amount, the less risk for the bank. So having a larger down payment can be beneficial to you. When the lender is looking at your debt, the less you owe, the better, because it will have an impact on your DTI, and that stands for debt to income ratios. And lenders consider your debt to income ratios. So what is the DTI? There's a front end and a back ratio. So your front end ratio, that is your projected monthly house payment plus other costs of home ownership. Like I said, sometimes the HOA or condo fees might be included in the payment, but typically you would pay those on your own. So that is going to be part of your payment that you're responsible for. And it could be monthly or it could be annually. Your back end ratio, this is calculated by adding all your housing expenses to all your monthly installment or revolving debt, like your credit cards, your student loans, child support, and then divide that by your gross income. The requirements for your debt to income limits, that varies based on the loan program. There are percentages that the lender will go by depending on the loan program you're trying to get approved for. When we talk about credit, that's how have you handled your credit in the past, because this will have a major impact and it can influence the type of loan and the interest rate that you receive. Typically, the higher the score, the lower the rate. The loan to value, that percentage, a lower loan to value ratio is going to help you get a better rate. The loan to value is the loan amount divided by the appraised value of the home. So if you got a loan for $70,000 and the value is say 110, then your LTV, your loan to value, is 70%. So by getting under 80% of the purchase price for a loan, now you're avoiding, with that 70%, you're avoiding that PMI, which is a good thing. To go out and find a reputable agent, you can search for a licensed member through your local real estate board or association. You could research reviews, complaints, and ask family and friends for agents maybe that they've had a positive experience with. A licensed real estate professional will guide you through this process, and they're going to make that experience easier for you. Your real estate agents have intimate knowledge of home values and community issues, and that can help you make a better decision. You're trying to gain as much knowledge as you can in making a decision when you purchase a home. Those real estate agents, they're the ones that are very important on your team because they're going to be guiding you and showing you homes and looking up valuable information that you need to make a decision. They'll help you develop home lists and gather amenities and community information. They'll negotiate the price and repairs for your home. And in that negotiation process, the real estate agent is really important because they provide information about the house, the sales of homes in that particular area, how long the home has been on the market before they sold. And that agent is also responsible for the timing of the negotiation. And it can require some repairs or other corrections to make that deal work. And that's where they're going to be very valuable as well. So you can get those repairs done by the seller. The more knowledge that agent brings to you, the better it's going to be for you. Another bit of concrete data that might help in the negotiation process is the amount the current owner paid for the house. You could generally find this information by looking up the property tax records for the home, and it usually through the property tax assessor's office in the county where the house is located. And many of the records are online now, and you can find out those property taxes that were paid on the house. And you could look those up yourself, as well as previous sale dates and the prices as well. Your homeowner is someone else that's a team player for you. They are a professional who has been trained to examine homes and all of the structural and mechanical systems within a home. Many of the states require the home inspectors to achieve various levels of certification. And if this is a requirement in your state, then you're going to want to make sure you use and see a home inspector who is certified. The process begins by scheduling the appointment after you have a contract with the seller and the agent has gotten all the signatures on the contract. You're going to schedule an appointment for the home inspector to come inspect the house that you're going to purchase. You want to know what you're buying. What's the good? What's the bad? There's no pass-fail on home inspections. It's a good idea for you to be there when that inspection is conducted because the inspector could give you valuable information and insight about that home, and that goes far beyond the report issued later by them. Also, if you're present during the home inspection, you're going to have the chance to ask questions. The inspector is going to walk through your attic. They're going to climb on top of the roof. They're going to be thorough with the different areas of the home. They're going to check the electrical. They're going to check the plumbing, look at the foundation. Are there any structural problems? Those kind of things. And if you go along that inspector, they can give you a running dialogue as they're looking and inspecting about what they're finding. Of course, the main thing is you'll be getting the report from them shortly after the home inspection is done. They'll usually email it to you, and also your real estate agent will get the copy of that as well. The home inspectors, they are trained to identify health, safety, structural, and cosmetic issues. The findings are going to be presented to you formally with that home inspection report. Many states and cities offer first-time homebuyers grants and programs. They're geared towards attracting homebuyers to the community and providing affordable housing to those who might need assistance to purchase their very first home. Because as I said, purchasing your very first home is a big deal. This is the first time you've done it. You don't know a lot of what to expect when you're going through the process. You may not have all the funds. And the down payment assistance program helps with not only the down payment, but also closing costs. And these down payment assistance programs or grants, some of them may require you to pay it back and some may not after a period of time. Most of them are just a silent loan on the property, and that payment is deferred depending on what the program guidelines are. The first program guideline for most of them would be income limits depending on the number of people in the household. And like I said, every program, whether it be state or county where you live, would be different. Your lenders should be able to give you information if they've worked with the down payment programs before. To find out about the programs in your area, check the State Housing Authority website. Ask your lender. Your real estate agent also should know what kind of programs are out there, especially if they work with first-time home buyers. You want to make sure you have as much information as possible regarding that assistance. So wrapping up on what we went over, let's start by making sure you're prepared. Start preparing now. If you need to increase your credit score, if you need to take care of any blemishes or wrong information on your credit report, you need to know what your credit score is. If you get counseling for, getting pre-purchase, pre-mortgage ready, then we are able to help you pull your credit report and tell you your score and review it with you. And by the way, when someone such as our agency or yourself pulls your credit report, there are no hard hits or points deducted from your score because you're not applying for a loan. We're giving you information and guidance. Seek guidance from professionals. Take information, gain knowledge from your real estate agent, from your lender, your home inspector, anyone that is helping you go through this process. Everyone wants to see you be successful, so follow the information to make the right decision. You're going to find the type of home that you want, make sure that it meets your needs in the right location. And through the whole process, you just need to be patient because it is worth it. It's not something that's done in a day or a week because you have several moving parts here. You have to get pre-approved, then you by the lender, then you start looking for the home and you're working with the real estate agent. When you find the property, then you're going to have to call and set up the home inspection so you can find out if there are any major problems with the home. If you're getting different types of loan like FHA, etc., then that appraisal is going to be important when the appraisal is ordered by the lender, because that tells the lender also the condition of the property based on, in that example, the FHA guidelines. If we are able to help you, give you more information, get you mortgage ready, review your credit report, please give us a call, 1-800-642-2227, or visit our website, www.cccsmd.org. Thank you.